Hello friends, my pleasant and humble wishes to all. Today we are going to see about the current affairs of June 4, 2021. The first topic is significant progress in SDGs on clean energy health, says a NITI index. India saw a significant improvement in the SDGs, that is Sustainable Developmental Goal related to clean energy, urban development and health in 2020, according to the NITI Aayog's 2020 SDG index. However, there has been a major decline in the areas of industry, innovation and infrastructure, as well as decent work and economic growth. Kerala retained its position at the top of the ranking in the third edition of the index with score 75, whereas it is followed by Tamilnadu and Himachal Pradesh, both scoring 72. At the end of the scale, Bihar and Jharkhand, Assam were the worst performing states. And adding it, all states show some improvement from last year's score, with Mizoram and Haryana seeing the biggest change. Development by Global Consultative Progress on Holistic Development, the 17 SDGs have a 2030 deadline. The NITI Aayog launched its index in 2018 to monitor the country's progress on goal through data-driven assessment and foster a competitive spirit among the states and union territories in achieving them. In March, UN assessment of the impact of COVID-19 on SDGs said the region India is part of may see rising inequality due to the pandemic. The NITI Aayog index shows some improvement in SDG on inequality, but a look at the indicators used to assess this goal shows that the think tank has charged the goal post. In 2019, the indicator for inequality includes growth rates for household expenditure per capita among the bottom 40% of rural and urban population, as well as the Gini coefficient, a measure of distribution of income, rural and urban India. 2018 indicators include the Palma ratio, another metric for income inequality. Moreover, the SDGs that do not deal directly with wages and industrial growth better reflect the fact that India's economy has taken a beating over the last year. In a more welcome development, the SDGs on the eradication of poverty and hunger both saw significant improvement. So the next topic is Narendra Modi, Kamala Harris discuss of UN vaccine doses. PM Modi spoke on the phone with US Vice President Kamala Harris on Wednesday to discuss the US announcement of how it would share the first tranche of 25 million vaccine doses out of 80 million doses it has committed to sharing with the end of June. Significantly, Modi invited Ms. Harris to India after the normalization of global health situation. Ms. Harris' mother family is from Tamil Nadu, and Ms. Harris have multiple visits to Chennai in her earlier years. Yesterday morning, D. Harris spoke with President of Guatemala, Prime Minister of India and Prime Minister of Caribbean Community. A White House readout of her calls said, adding that there were individual calls to each of the leaders in which Ms. Harris notified them of the decision to share 25 million doses. So the next topic is eager to involve Indian investigators and sites in global clinical trials. Anthony Fauci. Indian Council face another COVID surge if the population is lulled into compliance over the current decline in cases, warned the principal scientific advisor K. Vijayaraghavan. As US Presidential Medical Advisor Anthony Fauci said that a key lesson was that evidence-based guidance was necessary for the health officials, the political leaders of the country. Both advisors appeared on a special program on Indo-US health cooperation organized by Washington-based US-India Strategy Partnership Forum. Dr. Fauci, head of US National Institute of Allergy and Infection Diseases, said that India and the US must continue to collaborate on research related to SARS-CoV-2 as well as vaccines and adjuvants. Added, international cooperations and collaborations are essential to advance scientific discovery and to manage global health threats. This is an unusual adult vaccination program which needs to vaccinate substantial parts of population that requires a combination logistics. Moreover, he added, government rely on Serum Institute of India for COVID Shield, Bharat Biotech's for Covaxin and Russia for Sputnik V, other vaccine purchase for the kind of massive development that is required. US companies are still in negotiation with government, and it is expected that US provide vaccine by the end of this year. So the next topic is Finance Ministry advises caste-wise split in MGNREGA wage payment. The decision to split MGNREGA wage payment by caste category was done on the advice of Finance Ministry in order to assess and highlight the beneficiary flow from budgetary outlay towards the SC and STs, says the Rural Development Secretary N.M. Sinha. He said this should not cause any delay in wage payment or any change in beneficiaries if processed were put in place correctly, and added there was not a plan to focus NREGA only on districts with high SC and ST population. In the previous video, we have discussed this news that on March 2, advisory of the Rural Development Ministry, which directed the states to divide the wage payment in the separate categories for SC/STs. And we added, workers advocate feared this move would cause unnecessary delays and compliances in payment system and worried that it would lead to a reduction in scheme funding. The rationale was very simple, said the Sinha. On today's news, he said, it is not as if the payment made to SC/STs are not reported on NREGA website, but overall in the terms of budgetary outlay, people don't have to that indicate information about how much benefit it flows from budget to SC/ST communities. Measures was to a large extent aim at highlighting what the center is doing for the SC/ST communities. MGNREGA is a universal at this moment, and there is no plan at all to focus NREGA only in high SC/ST districts. There is an absolutely no plan to change it from demand-driven scheme, said the Sinha. The next topic is 30% of ration card holders yet to get PM fund benefits from May. Almost a third of all ration card holders are yet to get their free food grains allocated for many under the center's COVID-19 relief scheme, according to the Food Ministry. The Food Secretary Pandey also said it was up to states to take further action on providing ration to migrants and others without ration card compliances with a Supreme Court order, indicating that Center does not intend to revive last year's scheme meet for this vulnerable population. So the next topic is Standard UN Human Rights Council on Palestine. It's not new, says the India. India's largest abstention on a Palestine-related resolution at the Human Rights Council of UN is not a new stand, said the External Affairs spokesperson. The official response came a day after Palestine Foreign Minister Malik wrote a strong letter to External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, observing that India's action stifled human rights of all people. Palestine has written similar letters to all countries that abstained during UN Human Rights Council vote. The position we took is not a new position, said the Indian spokesperson. Sustaining the India's decision to abstain during the resolution aimed at enforcing international humanitarian law in the Palestinian territories and in Israel. The resolution was supported by 24 members and it is voted against by 9 members, and 14, including India, abstained it. Passing of the resolution led to the establishment of International Commission of Inquiry to investigate violence in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem and in Israel. India move drew a strong protest from Mr. Malik, who sent letter to S. Jaishankar expressing the disappointment at the India's decision. In 2015 also, India has abstained such a way at the Human Rights Council when the resolution sought to refer Israel to the International Crime Court. Palestinian leadership and diplomats had similarly protested back then. India had justified the action, saying that New Delhi has a policy not to refer any country to the ICC. So, next topic is about the state news related to Tamil Nadu. The Chennai Corporation to loan the pulse oximeter to those who are in house quarantine. And the Tamil Nadu government announces 500 bed in multi-speciality hospital in South Chennai. The Starlight Commission oxygen cylinder bottling plant, which is in Thoothukudi, commissioned an oxygen cylinder in the outlay of 11 crore on Thursday. Hope this video is very useful. I would like to say that our academy war, win and rule, is coaching students in various exams like NEET, TNPSC, UPSCs, as well as we are tutoring students from class 6 to 12 in all subjects. One-to-one student coaching is also available at students' preferable timing. For further detail, refer the description.